Okay, we'll take a short departure, from doing stuff in the lecture notes, and let me show you really quickly how to control your calculators, to do these trig functions. So the first thing we'll look at will be the Texas Instruments calculator. So we'll go ahead and turn it on, and let me get back here. Okay. So if you want to, perform a trig function, you'll notice that this calculator has three buttons: sine, cosine, and tangent. Okay, so there are the buttons right off the bat. Now, what you always have to check and make sure is first hit the mode button here. Let's see, where's my date? Here we go. Okay, so you want to hit this mode button, and you see the fourth line down. This is where you need to tell it whether you're working with radians or degrees, right? So you can see right now with this in radian mode, if I put the sine of 60 degrees, let's see, wait, sine of 60, let's do sine of 30. I get some weird negative angle, right? But I know sine of 30 should be 1/2. The sine of 30 degrees should be 1/2. So if I go to mode and I change it to degree, and then I try and calculate the sine of 30, now I get the answer I expect. So you have to be really careful that you click on mode and you switch between radians and degrees, depending on what you're calculating with, radians or degrees. So you could do, what did I just leave it at? Okay, leaving in degrees. So you could do cosine of 30 degrees, and you can do tangent of 30 degrees. Okay, so that all looks pretty good. Now with the NumWorks calculator, equivalently, you want to go to settings. So if we come down here all the way to the bottom and all the way to the right, you can see we are on the settings app. Click OK. And the first option is angle measure. So right now it's set for radians. So if I click OK, I can change it to degrees. And likewise, if I had this incorrectly set and I come out, go to the calculation app, and if I hit the sine of 30, see, it gives me that same incorrect negative value that I had previously with the Texas Instruments calculator. But now if I go back home, go down to settings, and change this to degrees, go back home, go to the calculation app, and now I do the sine of 30. Now it tells me it's 1/2. So this is correct. Um, and it looks like it, I didn't notice this before. Maybe this is new to an update, but I put in 30 and it put radians here. So it's kind of, in this case, it reminded me that this was in radian mode. So that's helpful. Now here, since I put 30 degrees, it's already in degree mode. It didn't put degrees here. So maybe with a number this large, it's suspecting you're forgetting that it's in radian mode and that maybe you meant degrees. Maybe that's why it's doing that. Okay, and so we know we can do cosine And we can do tangent. And you see this calculator is giving both, decimal approximations and fully accurate fractional values for each of these. The Desmos graphing calculator is not as efficient, for calculating these trig functions. Instead, you're going to want to use the scientific calculator. And the scientific calculator, you can see it's got radians and degrees right on the front. So it's pretty easy to not forget. And, with it on degrees, you could just hit sine of 30 and hit enter, and it gives you 0.5. And I think if you click this button, it'll convert it to a fraction. Click that again, now it's a decimal. And let's see, let's do cosine of 30. There's the decimal. Okay, it's not letting us go back to fraction like this one did. Okay, I wish this one did, but it doesn't. So far of the three, I kind of like the numworks just because it gives the fractional equivalent here. And then we can do tangent of 30 and hit enter. Okay, and that looks like the correct answer. If you switch this over to radians, and you wanted the sine of pi over 6, do that. Oops. Let me see here. I want to go to the right. Here we go. And then hit enter. It gives us 1/2. So pi over 6 radians is equal to 30 degrees. All right. Okay. So this is how you can use all three calculators to calculate trig functions and switch between radians and degrees. Let me know if you have any questions.